Hey guys, Ash here coming at you today, Watcher of Realms. Welcome to the video, guys. Glad to have you all here, sending some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you need it out there today. Today's going to be a quick video about, if you're anything like me, how to get more damage out of your Guild Boss team. I applied all the tips I'm about to share with you guys today to my Guild Boss team, and I'm still in progression mode, absolutely. But what I did was, just to be totally honest with you guys, I binged like 10 YouTube guides. I went and I looked up the actual text guides on the internet as well. I applied all of my learnings to my team, and I wanted to pass on the most pertinent info that I got, the stuff that made the biggest impact to my team with you guys as well. So we'll have probably a follow-up video in the coming weeks or months, really going over like all the best heroes in the game for Guild Boss. But to suffice it to say, excuse me, you can go to mybucket.com/tier list heroes. You can actually go in here. I have the epic heroes right now sorted by Guild Boss ranking, right? So you can see if you have any of these heroes that maybe you weren't using. They have Dolores, Pyros, Wrath, Deimos, Hollow as their top, 4 or 5 in terms of epics. And then you can look at the legendaries as well and kind of go from there. So it's a good idea of maybe you're sleeping on a hero that you didn't realize was really good in Guild Boss. It's definitely a place that you should be focusing on even in the beginning of the game. Guild Boss has the most rare, the toughest to get resources inside this game as well. Let's go ahead and take a quick look. That's why it's so important to join a guild that's around the same, level as you are, give or take, right? You want to be aiming to beat at least a couple of the stages of the highest difficulty that you can accomplish as a clan every single day, right? So if we go to the highest difficulty here, the top rewards, we're seeing like all the most difficult stuff inside the entire game to get. The legendary hero soul stone, legendary summoning crystals. Well, you guys can see everything. Legendary skill crystals, random demon soldier chests, all of the really challenging stuff. It's all there, right? In the
Surely you must know it was all for you.
Nightmare, and eventually we'll all get there. Eventually, even if you're 100% free to play just starting out today, it might seem like, in a year you'll get there. Well, I saw this in Raid Shadow Legends and other games that I played too. What seems insurmountable in the beginning, eventually, even, again, non-spenders, because I know the first tip, like with everything in these games, is get all the best heroes. Like, that's the first tip, right? But eventually you will get there, right? Anyway, I digressed. So the most important thing I want to tell you guys right out the gate, before we even jump into a Guild Boss fight, guys, is 3 numbers that I want everybody to write down. You can see them on the screen right now, thanks to my lovely editor, Osama. Shield times, right? What we care most is the destructive spit ability. Really, the only thing we have to absolutely pay attention to in Guild Boss is destructive spit. That's a shield ability that we want to break to do really a ton of damage, right? And keep the fight going and everything looks great. The times are all the same that those shields come up. So you don't even have to really be looking out so much for the actual ability. You can be looking at the time on your clock. The times are 4:07, 2:49, and 1:30. 4 minutes and 7 seconds, 2 minutes and 49 seconds, and 1 minute and 30 seconds, right? So what you want to do is, why do the times matter? Is because you always want to have in the back of your mind, okay, I'm going to need to save my ultimates because the shield is coming up in 20 seconds or whatever, destructive spit is coming up in 20 seconds. So that's, first and foremost, you need to know those times. I'm going to be real with you guys. This is embarrassing to admit, but I'm just going to say it. In the beginning, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just threw in DPS and I ulted, and that was it. And I'm sure that's what a lot of players do in the beginning of Guild Boss, right? When I started paying attention to that, I was able to obviously get tons more damage, right? But again, it's not just about knowing the times, it's knowing about when to time your abilities around the times. Second thing you need to know about Guild Boss is, and I hate to say this, but it's the truth, is your gear matters a lot. Okay? So I'm just gonna pull a random hero that I have on the team here, Setram, okay? Setram's amazing in Guild Boss, amazing hero. In terms of gear, you can see what I'm rocking here. My gear, the number one thing I'm focusing on right now, starting last night, so we're in the very infancy here, is actually farming, on auto battle better gear, because my gear really kind of sucks, honestly, right? That being said, what should we be focused on? Well, first and foremost, we want to be focused on crit rate and attack, right? Ideally, we want double the base attack as like a minimum, and then focus on getting that crit rate as close to 100% as possible. After that, and this is just a general ruling, a general rule, excuse me, in terms of gearing, especially in the early and the mid game, right? After that, we can focus on attack speed. I like to get plus 60, you know, as kind of a random barometer. Obviously, some heroes are going to be different than others, but then I like to focus on the speed, and then after that, crit damage usually, you know. And again, every hero might differ a little bit. Rage regen is going to be important on some, not on others. The one thing about guild boss is on your DPS, you basically just want to focus on DPS. Even your fighters, even your melee units, having a ton of survivability, not as important as in other games, certainly as in Raid where I come from. So survivability is something that you can get by, honestly, as long as you're breaking that shield, just focusing mainly on damage. So again, double that attack, work on your crit rate, work on your crit damage, attack speed, and kind of go from there, okay? If you ever want inspiration, by the way, not the buff from Dolores, which we do want, but if you want inspiration, of course, you can always look at the top teams, right? Not just in your guild, but the world rankings, and you can see how they guild their gear their heroes, right? So obviously, I don't have any gear close to this at all, right? But you can still say, oh wow, like okay, they're focused on crit rate, attack speed, whatever. You can get a little bit of inspiration if you don't have, and you might have some of these. You might have Laurel. You know, Laurel is an epic that you know a lot of people out there have, right? You might have Hollow, right? So you can get some inspiration that way as well. All right, so going into a fight here, first of all, use your assist unit, right? Use your assist unit. You're not going to build the auto with your assist unit, but obviously that's going to help you achieve those better rewards. And I guess this is a big one for me. Before you're going into auto a level, right? Before you're going into auto, just go 1 time speed, right? Just go 1 time speed. That way you can really practice your timing, okay? I'm gonna go 1 time speed. I'm gonna do 1 battle for you guys in this video. By the way, I'm gonna pause it. This little button over here in the right-hand corner, it changes your perspective, right? I used to prefer the old way. Now I prefer the new way or whatever, this inverted way. All right, guys, so here we go. Okay, so positioning is incredibly important here. So look at Hatsuit, for example, right? If I place her like this, she's not going to be able to, look, I'll just show you. She's not attacking. She's not attacking. So play around. Same thing with Cuke, by the way. So play around with your positioning a bit, right? Don't be afraid to restart. It's free, right? Positioning is going to be imperative. I'm going to put Dolores down first. Dolores having an attack booster, Autumn is another great one, is going to be imperative, right? So we want to place her in a position, usually this square or this one right over here, right? We want to place her in a position where we're going to be able to cover as much DPS as humanly possible right next to her. Hatsu, as I told you before, we can place her this way and she will attack. She will attack. So we're going to go ahead and get down all of our DPS, right? I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm just trying to think, make sure that I have them in range of Dolores. Going to be very important. So see, both of my fighters over here, I have Wrath over there. Wrath is going to be outside the range of my healer, who I'm going to put right behind Dolores, okay? I'm going to put Torador down, but as I told you guys, I'm only putting him down to get that final Lord bonus, and then I'm going to pull him right off again, right? So there we go. I'm going to put Hex down as well. Look at the time, 4:34. We do not want to be burning let me get one more DPS down here. We don't want to be burning, guys, our ultimates when we're this close to the shield going up. Moreover, whether we're using the rare Autumn or whether we're using Dolores, the epic hero, we want to make sure that we're using these alts at the same time as Dolores. That way we get the most out of them. So we're 3 seconds away right now. I'm going to go ahead and trigger Dolores, and then we're just going to start triggering everybody. See this destructive spit? See how we're burning through that shield? I'm popping all my ults right now, as you guys can see. And you can see we break the shield. You can see it break there. Oh, notice this right now. We have our man Setram here, and his ult is not popping. He's right out of range. Sometimes you can just spam them, and once they get their good angle on, right, once they find that right angle, it will actually work. So this is kind of not ideal here in terms of a showcase, but we're going to be okay. Now, we do want to use our ults afterwards too, because we have all the way till 249 before the next shield comes in. I think we can even sneak a Dolores, depending on her rage regen. We can even sneak that in right now. Now, ideally, again, we'd be kind of timing things, and this is what you'll do as you approach the end game. You'll be timing your team to make sure that everybody's as coordinated as possible, right? But you saw the damage went up significantly. We're gonna go ahead and keep, you know, popping our heals over here. Now we're still 249. We're kind of in the vicinity where we want to save now. We want to save for the next shield again, right? I could probably get by on the next shield here. I could probably get by with delaying a little bit here, but let's be smart. Now, look at Dolores, guys. We only have 11 seconds, less than that now. We really want to get Dolores to go here. So here she goes in just a moment. Okay, I'm going to start popping. There's Dolores. Here's Hex. Here's Hatsuit. This time Setram actually went, and now the damage is going to start to stack a lot, right? We broke that shield. Big time damage. Fantastic stuff, right? And again, now we have all the way till 130, right? So now we can get in there and we can start popping some more ults right now. Get some more damage against the dragon. It's going to be promoted to phase 3 in just a moment here. We can sneak in another Hatsuit ult right now. And you can see Dolores is at 47%. Now, once we get past the 1 minute and 30-second mark here, the third shield and breakthrough. By the way, I'm not playing Mari, but sometimes I do. I could. We don't even have to use her ult. We just used her A1 to get both debuffs up on the guild boss. So anyway, 130. This is a tough one. We're going to have to wait quite a while here. I'm actually going to burn Setram's ult right now without Dolores. Or I'm going to burn Hatsuit's. How about that? Let's go ahead and heal. We're going to save hexes for Dolores at the 130 mark. Most important thing is getting through that shield, that third shield, right? And, you know, you might be saying to yourself right now, I don't have these heroes or whatever, or I can't do this. It just go down in difficulty, right? It's all about the level of difficulty that you're on. So here comes the shield, 130. And we're blowing by it. We have Dolores activated. We have Hex also activated. We have another DPS coming in and Hatsuit activated. And we're going to breeze right through this shield. And after that, it's smooth sailing until the end of the battle, right? So I can actually fast forward ×2 right now. Now it's all out DPS. Again, ideally, we're still timing up these ults with Dolores here. And we just start stacking as much damage as humanly possible. That's the name of the game from here on out. But hopefully you guys, I don't want to make this like a half an hour guide or anything, but hopefully you guys have seen just how important that core timing, spacing, paying attention to where you are inside the battle, all of that stuff really comes into play inside your battles. And frankly, this is one of my worst damage outputs too. Nature of the beast, right? Of course, when you hit record, usually I'm around 65 to 7,000. And again, my gear, you know, kind of sucks. And even though I have a lot of really, really good heroes, it's also not I don't have some of the best, and you guys, I'm sure you feel the same way, right? I don't have some of the best heroes out there. In terms of damage, you're seeing my Nightmare team. That's the power of having the lore bonus, right? I mean, all 4 of the top damage dealers are Nightmare. And then after that, we have, you know, Torador, who we put down and we pulled out, and then Setram over there. So again, Cuke is a great damage dealer. I'll have a whole follow-up video talking about, you know, the best heroes that you can take advantage of. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about there. But I felt like I wanted to kind of put something out there on the channel just to give you guys the basics of Guild Boss, and hopefully to kind of get you guys jazzed up and excited about improving on your Guild Boss team, because that's where you're gonna reap all those juicy rewards inside the end game especially. So hopefully you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.